Hello everyone, welcome back. We're about to start Belgium. I'm feeling a lot better today. We have a fairly sizable lead to Red Bull here, over 30 points, and hopefully we can keep that going. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into Belgium, and let's see where we end up finishing there. We'll still have to take penalties for Stroll at some point, so we'll see. Maybe we take them here, maybe we take them somewhere else. It'll have to depend. And also, of course, the fact that the car analysis here, that the other teams have actually done quite a good job during the summer break. So we'll have to see if we can actually keep things going. McLaren on their side here, I say they're performing better than the car would suggest, so that is also a bit impressive. But we're going to jump straight into the race, and we'll see how we do. Quali went surprisingly well. As you can see here, we have Verstappen, pole, but he's taking penalties. Then we have Stroll and Latifi. Now, what I actually did with Latifi was send him out directly after Verstappen, so he got a little bit of a tow there from Verstappen. And it's kind of a cheeky strategy, but it does work. He did better times with the tow than without. So you could figure out who's the fastest driver, and if you have a pit box that is, after them, you can just chuck out your car behind them, get a bit of a tow, and help yourself out that way. You can also do the same thing with your own car, but yes, we are going to have a front row consisting of two Williams, thanks to the penalty for Verstappen, so that is actually pretty good. Now, qualifying positions are second and third, but we're going to start front row. One stopper is basically what is expected here from everyone. Performances, the softs here, they grade pretty quick. Within 5 laps, they are slower than the mediums. But at the same time, it's one of the longest laps of the season. It's just 44 laps in total. The mediums degrade rather slowly, about 20 laps before they become comparable to the hards. But at the same time, if you're doing a one-stopper here, you probably do want to do medium to hard rather than soft to hard. And also, pit lane time loss, just 20 seconds, fairly slow. Just levels 11 seconds under a safety car. And we do have a fairly high chance of getting said safety car. So, with that in mind, probably, as I said, the easiest thing to do here is probably just do that one-stopper, medium to hard. It is going to be the most effective thing here, unless we get a safety car that allows us for a cheaper pit stop. The cars that start on the softs are going to have an earlier advantage, but they're going to be slower in total, well, for the full race distance. And if they get bogged down too, then they're going to get slowed down even more. We're also starting first and second, so what I'm thinking is that we're just going to deploy for both cars, and we're going to try and get a gap to third, and basically just have Stroll and Latifi DRS off each other, which is kind of risky at this track, because this is one of those tracks where you really can just straight up take each other out, which would be very, very bad. I see an Alpha there. Albon up in 4th. That is... that's actually impressive. Now, Bottas is actually going aggressively here against Latifi. But it looks like we did get away well. Verstappen was 10th, he's now 8th. Leclerc in 6th. But Albon here could actually play MVP maybe. We'll have to see. I don't think their car is really slow for this track, because he did get second in Q2. So it's not really a fluke, he is pretty quick. And as you can see, both Latifi and Stroll are pushing. And that is kind of what we like to see here. And as I said, if they can just get that gap to the DRS there, push a second to a couple of seconds basically. Sorry. Just, I can't even remember the word. I'm just not making sense. Let's put it like that. But if we can get that gap and just have Latifi and Stroll DRS off each other to the end, that would actually be quite huge. Just give me a sec here. Someone is doing some work outside. I'm going to close my window. Sorry about that. Let's see here. So yeah.
A firm on DRS.
We did get the gap. Just barely. We're just about ahead now. So I'm thinking we're going to tune down the energy usage, but we're going to retain the fuel push. Try and get 2.5 seconds maybe down to Bottas. And as you can see, Bottas and Albon has actually created their own little pocket here.
Just had a spin.
And there's a lot of gaps, so strategy changes could be possible here. Won't rule that out. But for now, we'll just try and retain Latifi and Stroll running in front. And yeah, things are looking good. Let's see if they still look good in, well, around lap 20. We've had an incident with that actually brings out a safety car. And we have now a choice to make here. Every one of the soft runners are going to be pitting for sure. They're actually in their pit window. The question is, do we want to take advantage ourselves and pit? Because I think we will be able to run these hards to the end. It should be doable. Yeah, it's definitely doable. I don't see any scenario where not everyone just straight up pits. And we don't have a huge gap here, just 3 seconds, but if you take that into consideration, we'll come out ahead of Norris. So, well, we'll come out ahead of everyone who's currently pitting, and I'm pretty sure everyone will pit. The question that we need to ask ourselves is, do we pit both cars or just one? Because if we pit both, we are going to have a case here where, well, one is going to get screwed over. Okay, so Aston locks up, takes out the Merc, and both are out. So yeah. Question here is, again, do we pit both cars? With the gap that we have here, even if, let's say, Latifi has to wait an extra 4 seconds in the pit box, he should still come out ahead of, well, Bottas. So we're going to do the double stack. If everyone pits, will benefit. If not, Latifi will lose out. Well, Stroll will lose out now instead because Latifi is running first. But I think it should be okay. Kind of a shame with the safety car. It did actually mess us up a bit. And as you can see, we come out 6th and 8th. We actually get Rick in between us. Some of the medium runners did pit, I believe. Oh, they actually pitted onto new mediums. So they're planning to pit once more then. Or they're going to be running them into the absolute ground. But yeah, this is going to make the race a bit more interesting. We were kind of chilling out front there before the safety car. Not so much now. But I still don't think we'll have a huge problem just getting back to the front here. The problem will be making these tires last to the end. And if we get another safety car, we'll probably pit again for mediums. But right now, I think we're fine. We can push a little bit. We can be a bit aggressive, see if we can make our way back up. And we do have a tire advantage on everyone ahead of us. Even against Rick. So it is looking promising. And Latifi already gets the move done on Gasly. Gonna try and chase down Verstappen. And Rick has already actually given up a second. Down to the cars ahead. So the DRS train almost already been let go of here. Which is of course a bit concerning. And the same here for Gasly now. Gasly is also falling out of the DRS train. We had a Ferrari off the track. It's Bottas. That's one less problem for us. But Stroll does have to use a lot more energy here and a lot more of everything really just to catch up to the cars in front. But honestly, I think we can just chill right now because they are going to have to pit. We should not have to. As long as we can just stay within this DRS train, I think we can be very, very happy. So we'll just remain where we are, save up some fuel, save up some energy, and basically when they do pit, that's when we can take advantage, push fuel a little bit, push energy, get a little bit further away. Because right now, it won't be that long until they do their pit stop. So, and there you go, Magnussen is pitting. Within a lap or two, I think we'll see Verstappen and Leclerc pit. So, if you take that into consideration as well, we hold a significant advantage right now. There we go. Verstappen pits, Leclerc should be pitting this lap. Same with Gasly. And with that, we now have 4-second advantage down to Russell. And also, you know, fresh tires. So, compared to our competitors, Red Bull, we are in a very, very good position, and we can just leave things be. Honestly, safety car did help us out because we got cheaper pit stops, while Red Bull got more expensive ones because they didn't take advantage. So, I'm happy with this. Albon's still in a good position here now, and we'll just allow things to run to the end, unless we have something interesting happen. We've had another incident, yellow flag this time. I don't think this is going to be a full safety car. Albon, unfortunately, was doing very well, running in third. That is terrible news for them. He was running in third, he had a very, very good chance, and then he just crashes out. That is very unfortunate. We're still improving compared to the cars behind because of the DRS back and forth. As you can see, Latifi and Stroll, they're just changing who's driving first, but generally we are increasing the gap. We might tell one of them to just lay off a little bit on either tires or, you know, fuel, just to slow them down a bit so we don't take any chances here. But for now, things are looking good. We've had another incident, competitor crash, yellow flag. Don't think it's going to be a safety car though. It would actually be bad if it was, but I think we could have pitted both cars fairly safely there. Schumacher on turn 1. If he'd taken out his teammate, I could assume there might be a safety car. That was a very, very light tap. Honestly though, we are running 16 seconds ahead. Verstappen has made it up to 6th, 5th now, and might actually catch Russell before it's over. But I'd say we've done a fairly good race. The safety car pit stop, but double pit was the right call, as we've been shown. And we have another competitor crash now, and it's actually Verstappen. Okay, so Verstappen has had actually an incredibly bad season so far, just compared, to consideration of how often he's been crashing. Oh wow, he actually got eaten by the... I don't think I've ever seen that in that location. The wall just ate him. But yeah, we've been doing, I'd say, very well here now. Leclerc's up into 7th. We're going to get, we might get a huge gain here. Brake cooling has definitely... I think the reason why we are doing so well this season is actually the focus on brake cooling, hilariously enough, because it has allowed us to avoid the incidents that Verstappen has been having this season, honestly. So yeah, race is almost done. About to start the final lap.
This is the final lap.
And I think we're just gonna run to the end here. Again, big shame for Albon. He was running third before his incident. So it's unfortunate, but that's how it is sometimes. But here we go. 1-2 in Belgium. And looks like Sainz is gonna get third. And maybe a Mercedes... Mercedes 5th. Alpha 4th. Points for Aston. Points for Leclerc. Points for Gasly. But a huge shame here for AlphaTauri. They were running in third for quite the length of the race here. Verstappen, though, was running at 41.8 as his fastest lap. I assume he put on softs there at the end. Driver Championship then. Stroll won. we have Latifi gaining on Leclerc, just 3 points behind now. Leclerc actually the bigger threat of the two, as it turned out, because of, well, all the incidents that Verstappen has been in. And in the Constructors now, we have a good 52-point lead. We really stretched it this race, so it's looking really good. Really promising. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next race. Now, let's see here. We're gonna actually remember to put it into braking this time. Need to buff Latifi a little bit. Congratulations. Car is good. Apparently snatching those couple of staff members really did boost our car quite significantly. Now we're going to Dutch Grand Prix, Verstappen's home race, and let's see how that goes for us. Hopefully a bit better. There is a long pit lane, 28 seconds. We have a good chance of a safety car. And I believe we can also check, before we go into the race, how the compounds are going to perform. So for this one, softs are going to work better than mediums for about 30 laps. For mediums, they are about 30 laps better than the hard. So we want to keep as many soft and medium compounds as we can for the race itself. So yeah, can actually check that here before the races. And yeah, looking forward to it. Let's head to the Dutch Grand Prix and see if we can get another one too. It appears Stroll has had a bit of an adventure during practice, which is fine. It's older pieces, but he did destroy a rear wing, a sidepod, and an underfloor. So yeah, man's really gone on a tear here. But that's fine. Honestly, we'll just have to remember to replace them. As you can see, Sainz taking penalties, Ocon taking penalties, Perez, Rick, Vettel, Behrman, so quite a few penalties actually being taken here, and I'm honestly kind of considering taking the penalties for Stroll here. We do have, you know, room now to just take those penalties, but this engine is good for one more race until it starts to degrade. And what I mean by this is Renault Engine start losing performance under 75%, this one's 77%. So it's still good for, as I said, one more race. It's going to start losing performance during the race itself. But that is, that's perfectly okay, honestly. So, I'm trying to remember what race is after the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's Singapore, unless I'm mistaken. So that should mean that it would be better to take penalties here. I think it's way easier to overtake here than it is Singapore. And that would also allow us to have engines for the rest of the season. Of course, it's gonna be a bit of a pain to do this, but I think it's for the best that we just take the penalties here. We're gonna have some tracks that are harder to overtake at. And this should, unless we have a crash, keep Stroll fitted with parts for the rest of the season, kind of like Latifi is. And I think that's fine. We are going to be taking penalties here at Zandvoort. A pretty bad qualifying here. As you can see, 16 for Latifi, 6 for Stroll. Didn't really matter much. We're going to be at the back for him anyways. But I thought Latifi was safe. He was not. And that does cause us some pain. Expected strategies here are 1 stoppers, medium or soft to hard. Or 2 stoppers, soft, medium, soft. Which is probably what we're going to be doing from the back. Compound performance, as I said. Each tire is better than, well, the softs are better than mediums by 30 laps, the mediums are better than the hards by 30 laps, and, well, that is why we want to do that. Time consideration, 28-second pit lane. We do have good chance of safety car. However, even if you get a safety car, it barely shaves any time off the pit. Just 5 seconds out of those 28s. So, we'll have to see what we do here, but since Latifi is starting as far back as he is, I'm thinking that we just get penalties for him too here. We'll take some extra penalties. It's going to, of course, have an effect on the cost cap, but I don't think we're going to reach that. Well, we might actually reach that, but it's fine. So we'll just take penalties for him too. That way he is 100% covered to the end of the season. And he's actually starting 11th if we don't take penalties, but I'm thinking we might as well just take them. Just get it out of the way. Or honestly, if I'd realized he got moved up 5 places, maybe we wouldn't. But we'll do it. We've already kind of thrown our dice here, so to speak. Let's see if we can make this a little bit better. 25. Well, the medium stint is actually kind of preferable. But at the same time, we are going to be using quite a lot of the softs here by pushing fuel. So I think it's fine just having it as is, and then adjusting mid-race if we need to. So we're going to be pushing fuel, we're going to be doing everything, and we'll see if we can actually make our way back up here. We are taking penalties for both cars, and it should be okay. So the AlphaTauri has actually been kind of rapid. Both of them were in Q3 on merit. And we actually have an Aston up in 6th here. So it's starting to get a little bit interesting in terms of just where things are. Stroll is trying to get a move done on Paris immediately. We have Tsunoda, we have the other cars. There are some medium runs ahead of us. There are some older soft runners in top 10. Rick is also running older softs, falling backwards. But generally here, we're just going to try and make our way back up into the points. We'll be using energy, we'll be using fuel, we'll be using tie if we need to. So it'll be a bit of a struggle, probably. But we'll do the best that we can to, as I said, just make our way back up here. Stroll's up into 16th after lap 1. Still got, you know, people in front of him. So this is going to be... It's going to be a slog. But we'll do the best we can out of it. Latifi is gonna probably have a harder time getting things done than say Stroll, but that's okay. We'll have to see what we do in terms of recharging, but I think we'll have to do that when we do. For now, though, there are some gaps starting to kind of form here, so I'm thinking we tune down fuel usage, we tune down, and we do a little bit of harvesting here. And we'll see if we can retain our spots. If we fall down, we'll stop. But I think we'll be fine harvesting a little bit here. And for Stroll, once he gets a little bit more energy here, we can actually make a move on Geo. But I'll be doing my best here to just move ourselves upwards. Hopefully we can, as I said, get some of those moves done. And hopefully there will be some more gaps forming. Because we have a very rapid car. But as long as everyone's running a DRS train, it's going to make overtaking way more painful than it needs to be. So we'll have to see how this goes. We've had our first incident. Multiple cars crashed. Looks like Show and Magnussen, which helps us out a little bit there in terms of positioning. We're now up into 10th and 12th. But honestly, we were doing pretty well. We were basically just recharged Latifi here, getting him ready for an attack.
Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this.
I believe it's the Alpha locking up and taking out the Aston, which sucks for them. They did have a good chance there. But this does benefit us because, well, it allows us to, you know, close up to the guys in front. They had a 4-second gap here with Vettel. And honestly, it also helps us regain both energy and fuel. So this benefits us quite a lot, honestly. So I'm happy with this. We will not be pitting under this safety car, but even so, I think it's fine to just wait for a little bit longer here. Yeah, let's see how it goes on the restart. But so far, it's been going well. Verstappen is still leading. He's been holding that lead for the entirety of the race, but we are getting very close down to the points. Just 2 positions off for both Stroll and, well, for Stroll, 4 points for position for Latifi.
Safety car will be.
And as you can see, most of the cars around us are on the soft tyres. Just 3 of them are on a different tyre. Magnussen went onto the hard, which is potentially going to be bad for him. We'll have to see. But safety car is ending. We'll be using push. We'll be using standard just tyre wear. We might want to be a little bit more aggressive now, honestly, on the tyres, just for the first 2 laps. And I think we will. Because it'll allow us to be, you know, attack a bit more aggressively, getting those positions. And we did save a little bit of tyre wear under this safety car, so no reason not to. We'll just stick to the strategy. And Stroll already getting Rick. Can we get Leclerc maybe as well? Close. And we'll have to see if Latifi can get Schumacher. Looks like Stroll is going to get Leclerc pretty soon. He is very aggressive on the back there, and Stroll does get him. So, up into the points, up into 7th as well.
Check the DRS.
Did use a lot of the ERS though, but that's fine. We'll just keep on running a little bit aggressive while we recharge so we don't lose position again. And we immediately have another safety car. The question we want to ask ourselves now is, do we want to use this safety car to pit? Because we are very close to that first pit stop of ours. And even though we lose a lot in terms of position, and it's actually Verstappen. Oh my god. And he's out in his home race. That's
We're just watching the Red Bull. Clearly,
that's rough. I need to check like what their brake cooling is after this race, because that is, I don't know how many races in a row now, but I think Verstappen is getting very close to World Destructor Champion at the moment. But what I am thinking of right now is actually pitting on the safety car. We won't save a lot of time, but let's face it, we pit, get to the back of the grid, we can make something work. We'd have to go on the medium, then we can go on the softs later. We are going to have to be pitting again. Going on the hards is a choice, but I feel like we lose. Honestly, with the... I think it's fine to go on the mediums, and I'm thinking we just pit both cars here under the safety car. I think some of the other soft runners are going to be pitting too, so it should be okay to do this, I think. Let's see now here. Yeah, as you can see, all of the soft runners are pitting. Latifi is going to get, once again, kind of screwed. We'll see exactly where we do end up come out here. And I think we got blocked in the pit lane quite a bit as well. We must have. Look at this. Yeah, we for sure did get blocked in the pit lane. That sucks. Not much we can do about it though. In all honesty, it's just how it works with the pit lane. If I'd been able to predict that Verstappen was going to launch himself, then maybe we could have done something. But yeah, it is what it is. These top 7 cars now are going to have to pit at 1.2, so we can deal with that then. But we have fuel, we have somewhat, well, tire that we can use too. We are going to be planning to pit once more. So we'll have to see exactly how we want to play this, because, well, that pit stop kind of did just put us to the back of the grid again. But we will have a tire advantage against Albon, against Rick, against these 3 over here. It's just Leclerc and Perez that we will not have tire advantage on. So I don't think we'll have too much of a struggle getting back up. And another Red Bull with a problem here. Leclerc is now in the back. What happened? I know Stroll overtook Albon. I want to know what happened to Leclerc.
Oh, there's a spin. We can take a look now.
He had a spin?
Watch this. There's Leclerc.
Okay. That's a bit of a, surprise. And we have another incident here with a Mercedes doing the same.
Spin. Let's see what happened there. Now, just watch the Mercedes here. And there it is.
That could also be some back wing, rear wing damage. So yeah, things are looking interesting to say the least. I think we're going to recharge fuel for both drivers. We'll run aggressive for another lap just so that we do not, get caught. But I think both of them are safe to just run balance here. There are some big gaps behind them. But this race so far it's been interesting for sure. But we'll keep on making our way up here, and we'll see where we end up, if there's any more incidents and things like that. So we actually have some of the medium runners ahead of us now starting to pit, which means Ocon should be pitting soon too. which means that once we get by Gasly here, we should have some pretty free reign in terms of running. Latifi still has some work to do in terms of getting back up, but he is in 8th right now. The only concern is that we are, of course, gonna have to pit again at some point. And that could be, well, kind of negative for us, but it should be okay. Now, we also do want to break free of Gasly if we can. Because, well, we don't want to pull the hard tire runner of Gasly with us if we can avoid it. Latifi is also doing some good job here. He's up into 3rd, maybe 4th in a moment. We'll see. And I think we are just slightly pulling away from Gasly here, but we did run out of ERS, so that could allow him to catch up to us. And I think it might. But Latifi did get... is up into 3rd now. He is running that 2nd DRS train. So we'll have to see how this is going to work out, because there are hard runners in that DRS train. So what I'm thinking here is that we're going to recharge, we're going to run balanced. We're probably going to get overtaken again by Perez doing this, but it will allow us to get the energy to just create the gap like we did with Stroll and Gasly here. And we're actually just going to run Stroll on a recharge now, just a tad, so that we can get a little bit of extra energy to work with. That way we should have slightly better lap times, because we didn't have energy to work with.
Race position gained for Mercedes.
And we'll tune down the energy, the fuel usage too. And as you can see here, Latifi did get overtaken, but I, again, don't think we'll have any problems just re-overtaking Perez once we need to. And Perez is also on the medium tires, so when we do overtake him and pull away, if he comes with us, it's not actually a problem. It would actually benefit us if he did, so holding a bit of a gap here is good. And once we are fully recharged, we are going to try and just run away, which is actually now. So we'll go in neutral, we'll just push fuel for a lap, and we'll see if that is enough to just overtake him on the main straight, and then we'll deploy. Magnus is half a second behind, and it is actually enough. We just switch to deploy, and now we do our best to just pull away. Hopefully, we might actually just have to leave Perez behind if he, you know, ends up being a gap that just bridges it to the rest, and he kind of is at the moment. So, yeah, we're just gonna have to pull here. Unfortunately, we couldn't get enough away here that Perez and Magnussen's got broken. Well, they actually did. Maybe. Let's see here. Yeah, the gap got broken. Good. That is actually good, because Perez is running mediums and he will be quicker than Magnussen. So that works that works out as our advantage. Now Gasly's actually running hards, and he'll be running them to the end, so he has a pretty significant advantage here. Honestly, it probably would have been better for us to go onto the hards rather than the mediums, but we made our choice. We're going to have to just live with it. And what I'm thinking is that we might jump onto the softs here a little bit earlier than planned. We'll have to see, though. It'll depend on where we actually end up coming out, which will be close to the back no matter what. We do want to try and get a little bit more of a gap there, so when we get Stroll in, he'll come out ahead of Norris. But for Latifi, there's no good, you know, gap to pit him into. We're going to have to go through the entirety of the DRS trains with him, no matter when we pit. So, no good windows for him, unfortunately. And we can actually just go full attacking now, because we're going to be pitting both of them within just a couple of laps. And Latifi runs wide while on full attack, which actually gets Perez back up, and he lost about 4 seconds to Stroll. But again, if these are the small incidents that we're going to have, I'm very happy with that. Didn't even hit the wall. We can live with that. But yeah, Latifi is going to struggle a tad bit here. So 28.8, I think we're going to get Stroll in this lap, and we'll get Latifi in too. We're going to put them on the softs. They'll be quite a bit quicker than the hards, but we're going to have to gain over a second each lap. Oh, Latifi actually pitted earlier than I anticipated. Is he actually going to come out ahead of... He actually came out ahead of these boys. I should have had a look here, see what it's expected. 13th, okay. So he should come out in Latifi's spot. Let's see if that actually comes through. But yeah, he should, because Latifi will have a lap on the... No, he should come out ahead of Latifi. You know, pretty guaranteed here. Yeah. So don't trust that. It's not really reliable, unfortunately. Some tracks it is, but here apparently it is not. But 23 seconds of the lead. We're going to have to make our way through this DRS train, which shouldn't be too much of a problem because we are going to be pretty quick. Let's see how Latifi's doing in his lap times. 10.3. So he is running a second quicker than Gasly, but even then it's going to be difficult to get that done in just 23 laps. Stroll does have an opportunity, but this DRS train is gonna depend on how quickly we get through that, honestly. And that is gonna be the pain here. So we're just gonna recharge and we'll try and get through it as efficiently as we can.
That's a stonking lap.
But at the same time here, it is gonna be just a tad painful. Now I do want to try and just push and keep him on neutral and see if he can get some overtakes done that way. Because we should be a lot quicker. And it looks like it might be viable. And we actually have a couple of cars pitting here. And I assume these are the medium runners. So Paris is going to pit. But most likely no one else here is going to be pitting as well. But Stroll did get bot-ass by just pushing fuel.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
And I assume he might get someone else here too. Once we're done with the main straight, we're going to give him overtake with the energy that he has. There we go, Paris does pit. And try and make something happen here. Now, Latifi is running, you know, in a gap there, so he doesn't really have energy that we need to push. But Stroll did get Sainz, get both Ferraris here. Next up is the AlphaTauris, who are surprisingly enough running 4th and 5th. But Ferrari is going to come back at us there. It's just be how it is. So we're going to have to chill out, recharge for a couple of laps here. AlphaTauri most likely going to win. Gasly just had the better strategy here with the fact that we are now stuck in traffic. So we'll have to try and make the best out of it. Latifi should have, again, just a chill time until he runs into the back of the DRS train himself. So we'll try and work our way forwards and we'll see where we're at the end of the race. Currently things are going actually really, really well. We're about 10 laps out now. Stroll is running with Sainz. They are hunting down Gasly. Lap times are still about a second quicker, which means that potentially here, if Stroll gets by Sainz without losing too much time, we could still have a chance. Latifi's actually made his way up into 5th now, following Rick. And he should get him here on this straight, I think. Just maybe. And he did. So he's now running in 4th. And he'll basically try and hunt down Sainz now. We will tune down the fuel usage a little bit here. We'll go a little bit more aggressive on that towards the end. But the problem right now is Stroll is kind of dragging Sainz along, but we kind of don't really have a choice if we want to try and catch Gasly. So it's basically a choice between helping Latifi out for 3rd or trying to catch Gasly for the win. That's basically the dilemma that we're currently dealing with. So I'm thinking what we're going to do here is focus on the win. Just try and maximize the points for Stroll. Latifi is still going to get good points for his 5 per second here, even if we do so. And he's actually kind of catching up. So I think this is perfectly okay. And as you can see here, Latifi is running quicker than Sainz, but slower than Stroll. So that is perfectly okay, because Sainz is actually gotten left behind. I didn't actually realize until now, but Sainz did get left behind by just Stroll running push on his fuel. And a lot of cars are still pitting with just 5 laps to go here. As you can see, those Haas really couldn't make it the entire distance. Same for Gasly here. So he should be starting to slow down a little bit. He's actually pitting. So that gives us another opportunity for a 1-2. I didn't actually expect Gasly to pit. I still would have thought he would be fine. Just running the tires, and Latifi now fighting Sainz. And Sainz is also on old hards. So I'd say Latifi actually does have a tire advantage somewhat, but for now, I think we're fine with just recharging him, honestly. As still 3 laps to go.
Overtake from Williams.
So, as long as we have energy, a little bit extra fuel, I see no problem for Latifi here just holding Sainz at bay for the last few laps. And that, I think, should be our goal. Gasly's actually still 5th, though, so pitting wasn't the worst thing they could have done. Probably estimated that he would have fallen even further back if he hadn't pitted. Okay, we're getting very close now to the final lap. And if Sainz is going to be kind enough to give us DRS now on the straight, which he actually did, then I think we'll just say thank you. Go defend on the ERS. And that should be more than enough here to just hold him at bay. Now, Stroll's tires have actually hit the danger zone. But I still think we'll be safe even with that being the case. Once again, a 1-2. Very good. No points here for Red Bull, which is also very good. But we definitely want to check what their brake cooling is, because both their cars have had issues now in several races in a row, really. Perez did a great race for Merck, up 14 positions. Sainz up 5, getting a podium for Ferrari. Alfa Romeo here, scoring points with Gasly. Shame that they couldn't really get better, but he pitted from 1st to 4th there. It's probably where we would have finished with how bad those tires were, so understandable. Points for AlphaTauri, unfortunately, both cars couldn't stay in the points, but they do have a very rapid car right now, so we might want to have a look at them as well. With this, Latifi takes 2nd in the Driver Championship, 5 points ahead of Leclerc. And it looks pretty much settled at this stage, doesn't it? We almost have a 5-race advantage, so Stroll might very well be champion. This also increases our lead to 70 points, so these last 2 races have really kind of settled it already, honestly. And points for Stroll, very good. But as I said, I want to have a look at both Red Bull for their brake cooling and AlphaTauri for their car, because it's actually pretty good. They did a good quality. Could also, of course, just be engine wear for the other cars. But let's have a look at Red Bull, because I thought they had the best brake cooling. Okay, so they've been demoted a little bit, but considering they have almost 10% better brake cooling than ours, it leaves me kind of concerned. I guess they just had a bit of an unlucky bout, maybe, but this is still, you know, worrisome. Oh wow, I actually misremembered. It wasn't Singapore, it was Italy. Remember before the race I said we should take penalties because the next race would be Singapore. It's actually not, it's Italy. So we didn't really need to take penalties there, but it's fine. It worked out great, honestly. And also, we wanted to have a look at AlphaTauri, so let's check them out. Okay, they actually have a very, very good car when it comes to cornering, not good when it comes to DRS or top speed, but this explains why they are as good as they are. They also have higher brake cooling, so they don't really get bogged down in incidents. I say, considering just how it's been going with Red Bull for the last few races. I'd have to disagree, unfortunately. ATR period starts today. Tonde with the car report. We're still looking good, don't get me wrong. Cars, we don't have the best car, but we are making the best out of it because we always have the best engine in. Sidepod finished, and honestly, we're just going to make another sidepod immediately. Is this sidepod an upgrade? Nope. It's a cooling sidepod, so upgrade it is not. But we will design a new one immediately with full ATR and CFD. And that one should be an upgrade, because we'll do it as race spec. And because we focused on a couple of them with just engine cooling before this, as you can see, this one gets a 8% increase in cooling. And we also get a, well, not as significant, but it's going to make us the fastest car on the grid. And it's also helped us with cornering. and DRS. So as you can see, the top cars are actually pretty close in terms of performance. So that is nice to see. And I guess this is actually how the game was supposed to be, where the cars are actually really close and you'll have things changing within just a development cycle. We also have a rear wing incoming in just a day, so let's get that one out of the box as well. And this one is also an upgrade, so we'll be making this one immediately in a rush format, which means we'll have one for Italy, which I think I might just give to Latifi. Excuse me, which I might just think I'll give to Latifi because he'll probably need it. And I should probably also check here, because I believe we destroyed a side pod. We did. We'll make one rushed. We destroyed a underfloor and a rear wing, so this works for us. But we just need to, you know, get back to the main pass that we had. Basically, we want a stockpile to be, well, stockpiled. But we'll head to Italy. Currently, things are looking really good. AlphaTauri, though, with their car right now, they should be higher than 8 for sure. So we'll have to see if they can get some good performances going here right now, because they're just 3 points off the bottom, unfortunately. So hopefully they can have some better performances. Hopefully the Red Bulls can kind of make a comeback, because right now the season is kind of decided just due to the, you know, errors that they've had. Spins, other misfortunes, crashes. So we'll see in Italy here. This is probably where it's going to be decided if they don't make a comeback. So let's head in, see how it goes. Not the best qualifying we've ever had, but acceptable. 4th and 7th. Latifi is going to be moving up due to penalties. Probably the same for Stroll. So potentially here we're going to be second row behind Russell and Gasly, depending on how, well, severe Magnussen's penalty is. But it's looking good there. Expected strategies here are all one-stoppers. It's Monster. Performance, the softs are going to be quicker than mediums for about 10 laps. The mediums are going to be quicker than the hards for a little less than 10 laps, but still viable. Considerations here: long pit lane, 29 seconds. The safety car is, well, it could come out, 60% chance. And generally, with that, we're probably going to be doing a one-stopper as well. Probably medium to hard is just the, it's just the simplest strategy here. And as you can see, we probably have the correct idea with just doing the standard one, lap 22. And we'll just do that for both cars. It is the better strategy. And with that, we'll just push and go on the attack. We are starting 3rd and 4th, so both cars on the second line behind the Merc and the Alfa Romeo. And I don't think we'll have any problems overtaking them. Again, we did give Latifi the rear wing, so he does have a little bit of a car advantage over Stroll.
Italian Grand Prix.
And I see medium banding on both of them, red banding a little bit further back.
And away we go.
And Norris and Verstappen both with used softs, so they're going to have a bad day just purely based on that. Now Stroll here is already making headway.
Good job, good job.
Fighting Gasly. Latifi did lose out a little bit there, not much he can do. Hopefully he can get Norris back. But Stroll here looks like he will potentially get the Merc now too. Just choo-choo train right past. And we'll have him just deploy what he has left of ER energy here. And try and pull away outside of the DRS window. We'll be working with Latifi here though, to get him back up into a, you know, the front of the pack. He will probably be running with the pack while Stroll might be running away. We'll have to see. We have 1 lap now to get that gap. But as it's looking currently, what I would estimate here, I was about to say guesstimate. What I would estimate here is that Stroll would just about get that second he needs before he crosses the finish line. And Latifi here will most likely end up just running with the pack. We do have a gap down to Bottas though, and we'll have to see if we can actually keep that going. But for now, we are actually completely okay with just having Latifi running where he is. Russell is mediums, Gasly is mediums, Norris is softs, so we'll just leave Latifi where he is. We'll leave Stroll where he is. We'll push fuel, try and get just 2 seconds, so that we have a little bit more to work with here. But it does look like we are slowly getting maybe caught up there. It's going a little bit back and forth at the moment. But yeah, tune him down too. And honestly, we'll just try and stay where we are until that first pit stop, which will be around lap 22. So let's see where we are then, unless of course we have something happen. Well, as soon as I say that, we actually have a multiple cars crash incident here. But so far it's just a yellow flag. Looks like Chio and Bearman, most likely.
Let's take a closer look. Okay, so there we have the Alpine. And that's a big smash. They'll have felt that.
Seems to be the case. Luckily, no Red Bull involved. Still about 1.5 seconds down to Russell. Latifi is just recharging. And we're just taking the opportunity to just recharge him while running second in the DRS train. We have gotten a gap down to Sainz, but the rest of the pack is just, as you can see, a one big DRS train. So we'll have to see exactly how we deal with that. But right now, it is looking very, very promising. And honestly, Stroll might get caught here because of DRS back and forth, but we'll see. For now, though, it is still looking pretty much okay. And Bevan is already about to be lapped, so we'll have to see what we do. But as I said, for now, things are looking good. Latifi running behind Russell is actually fine. He will recharge fuel, he'll recharge energy, and everything will be okay. So again, back once we get into the pit stops. Okay, we've actually had a bit of an incident here with Stroll himself. He has spun, which is gonna cost him. Looks like he's gonna be going to the back of the pack, which means that we're gonna have some work ahead of us.
Now let's have a look. It's Lance Stroll. And yes, that's where they spin out.
Almost looked like he would, if the back tire wasn't on, I think he would actually gone beached on that thing, unfortunately. But he is down to 15th. He does have some free air here, but luckily no damage. And we are going to have, as I said, some work cut out for us here in terms of trying to get him back up into the points. It's going to be a rough one, but it does give Latifi an opportunity here to win a race. Pit window has been entered, and as you can see, Norris, Schumacher, Verstappen, Show, a bunch of the other cars have started to pit here, mainly the soft runners, I believe. But as you can see, we still have 2 more laps until we are supposed to pit. But right now, we're just pushing our tires a little bit here. I am thinking that we are going to get Latifi in right now because there are gaps to work with, which is going to make a pit stop easier to do, right, basically. And hopefully that way he can get a bit of a gap to the cars behind. For Stroll, we're going to have him push 1 more lap, I think. It's just easier that way. He hasn't really been able to make a lot of headway here. Magnussen with a bit of an incident. But as you can see here, Latifi does actually come out in a fairly good window here where he has a lot of free air up front, 11 seconds worth. So he will now have a bit of an easier time, to put it that way. Now for Stroll here, I think we are going to be pitting him too now. Unfortunately, it's just how it's going to have to be. Could potentially have pushed the tires a little bit more, but I think it's just better to get him in, have him run in potentially some free air while Schumacher's there, and now he also has that big gang. But at the same time, we kind of have to pit him at one point. If he waited a little bit longer, he would be even further back. So for now, Latifi's still in a very, very good window here. 22 seconds behind the leader. Should be running lap times now that are better. 24 blank versus 7 6s. Leclerc is actually running quicker, but I think that's because DRS. So Latifi here will be getting more and more of an advantage, and everyone will be coming out behind him. But I will be working on Stroll here. We'll just have to see if we can get him back up in the points. It's going to be a bit rough on this track in particular to get that done. I also did screw over Latifi a bit here because I forgot to tune down the tire usage. So the reason why I was getting such a big gap was because he was pushing tires. So it's going to get, get lower now to, well, it's going to hurt in the long run. Let's just put it like that. Now, Norris is on mediums. He's probably going to be on those to the end. So honestly, it's fine for him to pull us along. We kind of need it after wasting my tires as badly as I did. Stroll has gotten Schumacher. Well, he got back immediately, so they're going to be fighting for a while. But we'll have to see how we do here in terms of micromanaging him back up to the front. Basically everyone has pitted now, and it looks like it's going to be a bit interesting here because we have 3 soft runners who are going to be really suffering these next 18 laps. Let's be honest, the soft tires just don't work properly here, at least within the game. And as we could see here in terms of what we expect, those soft tires within the next 18 laps are, well, within 10 laps they're going to be slower than you know, comparable hards. So they'll work for a little bit, but as they get slower and we take advantage of the DRS train, we are going to get into an advantageous position here. The problem will be if Latifi can fight Norris because of the fact that, well, we kind of wasted his tires in the beginning. So he does have a little bit of a disadvantage with that in mind. But for Stroll here now, he's up into 9th. We can potentially start trying to get him to the front of this DRS train where Leclerc is in charge. And after the main straight here, where you basically use all your energy if you do an attack, we will give him the overtake, and we'll see now if we can get some moves done on, well, Verstappen to begin with. And looks like we immediately got him. Then Perez, well, both Mercs, but Perez first. And we'll just be doing this. We'll tune him to neutral once we get to the main straight, because again, you'll drain your entire battery there with overtake, and it just isn't worth it. And we'll give him overtake for the remainder of the track, and that should be enough with the pushing of fuel to hopefully get a position or 2 more. And right now, as you see here, Perez is losing the DRS up to Russell, mainly because of the fact that he has to defend. So I think we'll get him here now on the straight, and that will also close up the DRS train again up to the front. But because of the fact that we have used some fuel, we have used some energy, we're going to just take a couple laps here to recharge from this position. And then once we have recharged, we'll just go again. Now, Gasly is actually catching up to Norris and Latifi. So before that happens, we'd like to, you know, get something done, get a little bit further up the field here. But that's going to be probably a bit challenging. So we'll have to see exactly how we go forth in making that happen. Because Gasly and Leclerc are both running the soft tires. They are going to be quicker now, but they're going to really be suffering towards the end. So we'll have to see exactly how that plays out for him. But we have given Stroll the overtake again. Let's see if he can make something happen with Russell. And then Bottas. I think Russell and Bottas are actually running side by side, and that kind of screwed Stroll over just a tad. And we have a Norris off the track, which gives Latifi free rein, but then again, he is getting caught up by the cars behind. So it's not really free rein, it's actually a bit more problematic than that. But we do now have a bit of an interesting situation here with Stroll. We are going to have to recharge though, I think, because again, Russell and Bottas are just fighting so hard that we don't have any room where we can try and do an overtake. So we'll just sit back a little bit, recharge. Leclerc and Gasly have caught up with Latifi, which means that he will be fighting the 2 soft runners. And the fact that we use that much of his battery is gonna, not his battery, his tires, is gonna probably backfire a bit here. Unfortunately for us, but right now he is fighting back and he's doing the best that he can. So it's looking promising. Stroll there, fighting Bottas. Can he stick it there? Keep the position, sorry. And Stroll just gets a double. And we don't have DRS, so can't really maintain. And we actually lose out to Bottas too, that, but then get it back. Okay. Latifi does the same thing that Stroll did, unfortunately. Not much we can do about that, honestly. But I did say that Red Bull was having, you know, the Deconstructor Championship in hand, and I guess they said, nah, we don't know you. Leclerc now just has free reign to kind of run away with it a little bit. So we'll have to see what we do with Stroll. It's probably going to be a couple laps of recharge again for Latifi. He's just a tad too far back to really get points, I think. Maybe not. We might be able to fight for 8th and 7th. We'll have to see here. It'll depend on how quickly we catch up, but it's just 6 laps remaining, so it is going to be a rough one, no matter how we look at this. We do have fuel to push though, so should just do that, honestly. Probably should have pushed fuel a bit earlier, maybe gotten a bit of a gap there. But the fact that I wasted so much tyre after the pit stop kind of made that unviable. We do have full ERS, we have a little bit of fuel we can push. Let's see if we can catch up to Russell and get by him. If you heard that beep, it's my headset again. I forgot to switch battery before the session. That's my bad. But Stroll is fighting Russell. Did not get the RS though on the straight here, and we are wasting a ton of energy, but that's fine. Kind of just needs to try and keep closer to Russell, because if we can detach Bottas, that would actually help us out a little bit. And we are up into 3rd. We did get Russell. And now we're going to have Gasly and Leclerc to contend with. 3 laps to go. Gonna save fuel, save energy here for a little bit. And we'll see if we can make something happen. But right now, for Latifi's sake, it's not looking very promising back there. Although he just has 2 seconds up to points. It's basically going to be a fight for a singular point there. And if you heard a lot of wind noises there, it's just me changing batteries in my headset.
Low fuel, so
we do have low fuel range for Stroll, but honestly that should be okay. And I think for this next lap here now, we're going to put him back into neutral. And we're going to use this lap here to just get close, and then see if we can get some overtaking done. Stroll is fighting for second just now. I should have put him to overtake there. Then maybe he could have... Honestly, we're going to put him to overtake now and just go aggressive to the end. It's a bit risky in terms of fuel usage right now. But it could also be hugely beneficial here. We can get Leclerc now into the corner. Couldn't really get that done.
And a new position just gained by
Use all the energy here. He had a little bit more energy than maybe, and I should also put him on attack a bit sooner. Latifi is a second behind Sainz, so can't really do anything there either. Going through the final corner here. Can't really... I don't think we're going to have enough, track to get to the line. And we didn't. And unfortunately here, Latifi just doesn't have tyre to hunt Sainz. Soft here did actually work out a little bit better than I anticipated, but as you can see, both Gasly and Russell's tyres were kind of broken. If Leclerc had just degraded a bit quicker, he too would have been in trouble. But luckily for him, it didn't go as badly as the other two drivers' tyres there. So Red Bull wins. We have Alpha in 3rd, Merc in 4th and 6th, Bottas in 5th for Ferrari, Verstappen scoring points to 7th, and Ferrari finishing out the points with Sainz in 8th. Honestly, if we didn't have the spins for our drivers, this could have potentially been a 1-2 again. I think it would have been a 1-2 again. And Leclerc here just overtakes Latifi again. Not too big of a surprise though, honestly. We still have a healthy lead with 6 laps. Is it 6 races or is it 7? With 6 races to go, so technically we could still be beaten, but we have 53-point lead. If we score 7 points, we're safe. Well, not even that. If they don't score full points to the end of the season and we score 0, they well, we're gonna win. No changes here. We still have a healthy lead to Red Bull, so I think we're safe in, well, every department unless we start really spinning. But it is looking very, very good here. Now, next up should be Singapore, which is the soft tire track. We have all the manufacturing done too, which is good. Another point to put into braking for Latifi, brings him up to 89. We're going to put one more point in braking before we go back to balanced racing of the stats. And we actually have a regulation vote. So the weather center refurbishment has been completed, good. Financial changes, less money for the top teams, more money for the bottom teams, except for the bottom team itself. We'll vote for, doesn't really matter. Race sim is in poor condition. Of course, we're going to refurbish that immediately. The experience is just very valuable. Board is happy with the race. Great race. With that second place. Again, just a bit unfortunate on those 2 spins, but it happens. Suspension design has been completed. I wonder if this is one that is just cooling. And the vote passed, so we're going to have less money if we win, ironically enough. Let's have a look at this suspension in the warehouse, and as you can see, it is basically just a brake cooling focused one. That is fine. What I am thinking that we're going to do now, though, is since we have made, since we are starting to make, you know, the 5th iteration on some parts, I am thinking that we are going to start just doing research on the chassis and the Sidepods, try and get those changes for next season kind of just ironed out. And we're going to go race performance for this one. But the thing is it even worth it? Got optimized aero, that would actually give me more of a boost. Because the thing is, even if we don't do any research, the fact that this chassis and Sidepods are getting hit means that we can just put CFD into them to make up for it. And if I make an underfloor now, again, it's just going to be, we're going to get even more higher up under that roof. So it's a bit rough, but honestly, at this stage, I think it's fine if you make a car that's a little bit overpowered. Let's have a look at the finances and the cost cap now. We have 40 million with 6 races remaining. Again, what I'm thinking is, this is how much we have remaining. This is how much we'll have remaining at the end of the season. So we have about 40 million that we can spend on upgrades, if you want to take the cost cap into consideration. So we can actually do just another project for the underfloor and everything, and just skip research this season, because it's hitting the chassis very lightly. It's going to hit the Sidepods very hard, but at the same time, maximizing the other pieces will be a massive boon. And I think once again, we'll just keep this balanced. It'll be a very slight upgrade to everything, but it's going to be an upgrade, and it's going to be there next season. So I think it's fine to do it like this. We'll do it intense, and we'll just have it. We'll actually just have it in time for the last race. We'll lose 2 engineers. We won't. So this is not going to be an upgrade that we can use. Honestly, we can't really use it. But it's going to be an upgrade that we can. Oh, I actually forgot to start a new project at one point. Silly me. But it is going to be an upgrade that we can actually, you know, take advantage of next season. And that is the idea. Now, our railing here does need some work in several areas, as you can see. It's one of the worst in terms of airflow. So we could keep it balanced, we could go low speed. It would actually make it balanced to some degree. Optimized aero could actually work. It would help us get up the, you know, a little bit on dirty air aspects. We lose a little bit of high speed cornering. But I think this is okay, basically to make it a starter wing for next season. I think we'll just do it balanced. We'll put 5 engineers on it. We'll do it in tents, and I don't think we'll be able to make a front wing for next season. No, we won't. But we'll be making at least a chassis, and then maybe do a couple of research projects, which is okay. Rear wing is in low stock. Did I forget to? Oh, it's because I forgot to put it on Stroll's car too. So compared to the old one, as you can see here, it is a bit of an upgrade. It's not a huge upgrade, but it is a nice one. So now we actually have the rear wing in both cars. I did forget to put that on. It is my fault. And once we actually get the upgraded side pods there, it's also going to be pretty good. Again, won't make the suspension, it just isn't worth it. We might make a few more just for cooling, but that would be the only thing we'd really make. We are kind of stepping away from the balanced development rule at this point, but again, we are getting very close to the end, so I think it's fine. For Share 2, we'll be doing the balanced upgrading, and the race sim refurbishment is complete. So with that, we're just going to jump directly into Singapore. And this one should also be quite interesting. Hopefully we don't have any crashes here, because that will probably wreck a few parts. We still do massively struggle on qualifying pace. As you can see here, Stroll's 4th, Latifi 9th. Bit of a shit run here too in Q3. As you can see, his best one was 1.3. Well, 1.4 really. So he had a bit of a worse run. But at the same time, it is what it is. Not much we can really do about that. The concern though is Norris is a good half a second quicker than us, but hopefully they will choose some, you know, non-soft strategies that will help us out. So qualifying 4th and 9th, I believe there's one penalty in there. As you can see, the strategies are one stoppers for all, soft to either medium or hard, or medium to soft. Compound performance here, the softs are going to be quicker than mediums for about 30 laps. Mediums are going to be quicker than the hards for about 15 laps, so one stopper could very well be the thing here. We have a very high chance of safety car, long pit lane at 29, but if we get a safety car, it's going to be 16. So with that in mind, we are of course going to be starting on the softs, and we're going to be doing potentially a one stopper here. And if, you know, we get something, a safety car that allows us to change up the strategy, we might do it. But this is going to be what we're going to go for, and it's going to be a good 20 seconds quicker than any of the other strategies. So we'll take that. It's not a bad thing. It is a bit cheesy though, to put it lightly, but we'll take it. So Latifi did get promoted 1 position due to penalties, but we're still starting 4th and 8th. I believe Stroll is starting between the 2 Red Bulls, so we'll have to see how that sandwich treats us. And as you can see, there's softs on everyone except one medium car right there, one medium car right there. And remember, the mediums are going to go on to the softs towards the end. But right now we hold quite an advantage because we have better tires from the get-go. And hopefully we can make something happen here. And if we don't have any safety cars before lap 30, we should be holding a pretty significant advantage. Stroll already made a move on Magnussen. Leclerc's made a move on him himself. But if we can get up front here now and kind of just pull away, that would be massive. Because on this track, if we are going to be pitting into traffic, which hopefully we can avoid, we will need to have gaps in that DRS train to make our life a little bit easier. Right now it's looking good. Stroll's up into 3rd here fighting Leclerc. We have Latifi still running 8th, so he didn't lose out in any way, shape or form, but didn't gain anything either. But let's face it, on this track we are going to have a lot of safety cars, so we can push our fuel a little bit, we can gamble a little bit with energy, and we should still be perfectly fine. So I'm thinking we're going to push these tires just a little bit longer with the energy, with the fuel here. Push it down to maybe half, 0.6. And if we don't get a safety car, it's going to be, you know, not good later. But for now, I think this is good. We're just going to sit where we are. And around lap 12 or lap 14, the others are going to start pitting. And that's when we're going to try and, you know, create a gap. So let's see if we can maintain until then. Didn't take long for our first safety car here. I think it's 6 laps in. Yep. So pretty quick. We have Schumacher creating said safety car, which is now a surprise. And he did take out Show by looks of things.
Let's see what happened there. Right, watch this. There's Schumacher. Oh no! And
I can see why Show is out. That rear wing is just gone. But yeah, that's the first safety car. Took six laps here. And again, this is early enough that we won't have, I think, anyone jumping into the pits. So honestly, benefits us. This is okay. Could we have jumped into the pits here? We could. Now that I think about it. Because if we jump into the pits and get on the mediums, if we have another safety car later, we can jump on the softs. And we'd still get up to the back of the pack here. And since everyone is going to be pitting in 7 laps or so, everyone except these two, and Schumacher, it could have been an idea to jump into the pits, but I think I'm a bit too late on that. We're not going to get to the back of the safety car if we were to pit, I'm pretty sure. So, well, we might have been able to, but a little bit too late there with that strategy. It could, of course, have worked out pretty well there, just pitting on the mediums. Get a bit of a gap, but as you see, safety car is ending. Would have been a bit of a gamble, I think, and not one that I'm really.
Yep.
If we'd done it immediately, it could have worked, but since we didn't, it's a bit too much of a gamble for me, honestly. But we will be trying to
and a new position.
Get a position here, maybe.
Gained by Williams.
But we're actually falling kind of behind here. Oh, it's because we're still saving fuel. It's because I'm a dummy. So I gave him overtake, but I forgot to turn up the fuel. Kind of like I forgot to, you know, fix Latifi's.
DRS is currently disabled.
Okay, I'm clearly still not at 100%. So yeah, this is not good. Hopefully, I don't make any huge mistakes.
Without DRS.
But for now, we'll tune things down again, and we'll just wait for that first pit stop, which will be coming very shortly. There we go. The first set of pit stops is happening for the other teams. And again, basically what we've been just waiting for. The others will be pitting. We will stay out, get a little bit of an advantage in that manner. And some are pitting onto the mediums. Norris has so far been the only one. The rest have pitted onto the hards. Not good for them. Great for us. And we have a few more medium pitters here now. Sainz, Ocon, Russell, Albon, Verstappen, Magnussen, Norris. But again, we should be quicker than them for still quite a while. So we're running 41.8s, 42.1s. Let's see what they end up running this lap now. (42.2), 41.8, and 41.8. So Magnussen is running quicker. Leclerc is running quicker. But I think that's mainly due to the DRS, more so than anything else. Basically, Norris is going to be the concern here, 41.7. So they're running slightly quicker than us. That is a concern. Actually running quite a lot quicker than us. Okay. We might be in a tad bit of trouble here, but we'll see. Maybe we get like a safety car. For now, though, we are just going to stay out until, as I said, around lap 30. Might lose out a little bit here, but I think we can make our way through that DRS string, I would think. And we have had a crash on track that has led to a safety car. And I'm thinking that we take advantage of this and just pit. It is still a bit early, don't get me wrong, but we can pit. Unfortunately, it happened just as Latifi and Stroll went by the, pits here. But not much we can do about that. It's actually Leclerc here, another Red Bull that is crashing. So they are definitely setting themselves up to win the Deconstructors championship here.
Sounds like there's been a crash. We can take a look now. We're just watching the Red Bull.
Okay, I guess Norris should be happy that he didn't get taken out as well. But yeah, we are going to be pitting here. There's just no reason not to. We're going to be pitting very soon anyways. Let's see now if Latifi is going to get held up. And Latifi comes out behind Norris, but ahead of Magnussen, Verstappen. So, did lose out a little bit during that pit stop. But I think this is okay. I do think Stroll will have no problems just overtaking them immediately. And we do have a bunch of extra fuel now that we can use. It is still a bit worrisome though, that we had, let's face it, Stroll had about 21 seconds to Vettel and Perez, so did lose out a bit more than we expected maybe. But if we can get by them now on the safety car restart when it happens, I think we'll be looking good. And this time I'll try and remember to actually put up the fuel usage. So we're getting quite a few laps here on the safety car, which will save the tires, because these ones, if we're going to run them to the end, are going to have to last for quite a long time.
Safety car in this lap.
So
Copy.
we'll have to see exactly what we do in terms of that. But for now, I think we're going to be pushing fuel a little bit here, try and get ourselves a little bit further up the pack here. Particularly Stroll, we want to get away from Perez and Vettel, since they're on older mediums. And if we can, you know, break away from them, create a gap for DRS usage, that would be good. Moving Latifi further up too would be nice, so we'll give overtake to both of them. And Stroll here now should be getting closer to try and launch an attack. Hopefully before we get DRS, he can at least make up one place, as that will be making his job just a little bit easier. There we go. He did get Paris. Now Latifi's going to have a bit of a harder job here. Norris isn't on as old tires, but he's still on older tires. But what this is telling us too is that they are going to be pitting again, because those mediums are going to be really, really, you know, wasted by the time they get to the end here. So we'll have to see exactly how that plays out. Now I'm going to have Stroll just push everything that he has now, see if he can get that 1 second gap. And if he can, just allow him to build a bit of a gap into the cars behind. Already here we kind of have Schumacher doing the same. And I am kind of happy just letting... Am I really happy letting Latifi sit here? Not really. But we'll see if he gets the overtake done now during the main straight DRS zone. Not really. So we'll give him overtake, we'll give him push, and we'll see if we can get the job done here. Not really. He is trying. Norris actually came back at us instead. So Latifi kind of struggling to get the job done. Not much we can do about that. We're just going to have to sit where we are. Stroll already getting a good 4 seconds there to the cars behind, which is good. So for Stroll, we're just going to let him do what he is doing. We're going to tune down his fuel usage though. And for Latifi, we are going to try and get him a little bit further up the pack, but at the same time, the cars around him will probably have to pit again. And if they don't, they will have extremely used tires by the time we get to the end of the race. So I'm kind of okay with him just sitting where he is, provided of course that Norris, Perez and Vettel don't leave us behind. So I'll keep an eye on the gaps here. If a gap in the DRS train appears, we'll try and push. But if not, I think we're just going to kind of sit where we are and slowly work our way up to the front of that DRS train. But for now, we're happy with where we are. We've had another car crash here. Multiple cars crashed, Behrman involved with a Tsunoda. Both cars are still running though. Don't expect that to be a safety car. But still, we still have incident happening. We're just a little bit over halfway through this race, so we might have just a couple more safety cars at this rate. Locks up and just lightly taps him. So the incident I said with DRS train starting to form has actually just happened this lap. Norris got to the front, immediately pulled a couple of gaps there. So we're going to have Latifi now start doing some work and catching up to Norris.
Make
because
sure
he
you
did,
do some energy.
as I said, he did break those DRS gaps, and that does cause us some problems here. But if we can leave Mick behind, that would also help us in fighting everyone behind us. So I'm kind of fine with this, but at the same time, I want to get through Perez, want to get through Vettel kind of quick here, and start chasing down Norris if we can. And I think it could be probably a bit difficult here, but we have a safety car again. Question now is, do we want to get Stroll in for a pit stop? As we saw last time, it isn't actually a safe gap to pit into, but I think we can get him onto the soft stage to the end. And he's estimated to come out first. Let's see if that actually, you know, comes through. And for Latifi here, I don't think we are going to want to pit him. But at the same time, let's face it, Vettel is going to pit, Perez is going to pit, Norris is going to pit, and if they pit onto the faster compound, we might be in a tad bit of trouble. So if we pit Latifi, he's going to come out towards the back here. But it might be worth it, honestly, to do so, because he is going to be a second quicker a lap is the estimate. So anyone that doesn't pit, we should just straight up eat up here. So with that in mind, I think we're just going to pit both cars. It's going to be kind of a gamble for Latifi. For Stroll, it should be okay. And I assume what happened is just Bearman locking up in the same place as last time. But since it doesn't have a Aston Martin cushion, he's just going to fly into the wall. And that is exactly what happened. Let's see now if Stroll makes it out ahead of Norris, and he should, let's be honest here. That's a bit more of a gap. We actually had a crash here under the safety car. Vettel with a penalty. That's bad. Luckily, Latifi stayed clear of it.
There's been contact on the track. Let's have a look. So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez. Oh no!
Okay, so Vettel spins,
Mark my words,
and Perez kind of drives into him there. So Perez and Vettel are both going to be switching front wings here, which is going to be beneficial for Latifi, since they'll be pitting longer than we are. And we'll come out in 13th, which isn't super bad. Remember, every car in front is either on hards or older mediums, so that works out to our advantage, I dare say. Stroll had a healthy lead. He actually stayed out front there. I don't know what happened on that first safety car. Maybe the gap was a bit smaller than I thought. Which of course could be the thing here. But for now though, we'll just allow things to the safety car to end.
The safety car will be in this lap.
And it's actually ending right now, so we are just going to have him do this. I think this is enough from Stroll to just get the... I think that should be enough from Stroll to get the gap reinstated, because as it estimated, he should be a good second quicker than he was. And he was creating some pretty good gaps even before this. So we'll give Latifi overtake, and he should also have no problems just kind of flying up the pack here, I think. Stroll has already reinstated that 1 second gap, just running normally. And Latifi has already gone to other cars. Russell is up next now on the hit list. And I think he should have no problem getting him. And these tires will last to the end with no doubt, no problems at all. Russell is a bit more of a tougher customer, as it turns out. But I think we're getting him now, maybe? Not yet. Bit more of a struggle there, but it is what it is. We'll be 4.5 seconds there on 2 laps. That is a rocket ship. But we'll be trying to keep on working Latifi further up. And we'll see where we're at in 15 laps time. We're currently on the final lap. As you can see, Stroll has a good 41 seconds to, well, place behind. And immediately we have another incident here with Norris with a puncture. And I don't know who he has crashed into. But he is slowing down everyone behind. So let's give you a driving clean air command. And I want to see what actually happens now if you just overtake
It's a crash, and it's more
Science
than
there.
one car.
Go on, go by, please. And yeah, as you can see, we have been trying, couldn't really get up to anything higher than 7th. It's just a bit unfortunate, but it is how it is. And with that crash, it kind of is beneficial to us because I don't think we would have even going full attack as I was planning there, been able to get anything more out of it. So for Latifi, it was a mistake to pit. I'll admit that. Having him stay out on the mediums probably would have been a way better result. Probably could have gotten him up into, you know, 3rd, a podium place. But at the same time, you can see that putting Stroll the soft sit towards the end gave him a huge advantage. He's 50 seconds ahead of Magnussen. Well, 48 seconds, but basically 50, almost. So it worked out very great for Stroll, but unfortunately Latifi just couldn't get the overtakes done, and that didn't help us there. So Latifi was a mistake to pit him. For Stroll, it worked out massively well. So Alpha scores points with both their cars. Red Bull scores points with one car, crashed out the other one. Ferrari with one car, Alpine with a car, and McLaren with a car. Unfortunately there for Norris that he crashed out, would have been a podium if not, I think. And for the Driver Championship then, we have Verstappen gaining 6 points, we have Magnussen gaining 8th, moving up ahead of his teammate and of Sainz. And I think this means that we have won. Stroll now has 63 points and Leclerc, which means that we have won the championship, well, the Drivers' Championship. And for constructors here, if you take into consideration that you can get 18 points per race, I think we still need to score more points than Red Bull in one more race to make it a definite thing. So we're going to jump straight into the next race here, which should be Japan. And we'll see how we do there. But so far it's going pretty well, but again, I'm surprised at just how much the Red Bull is actually just straight up crashing. It's not working out well for them. Board is happy, which is good. But again, I did make a mistake with Latifi. It would have been better to just keep him out on those mediums with the rest. And we will be, you know, re-signing Irvin once the season is up. Refurbished Team Hub, of course. And we will also go ahead and look at the car report. We are losing out a little bit in low speed, medium right now. Car is getting kind of downgraded. I guess our opponents are still making upgrades, which is a bit of a concern. But at the same time, we have basically won the championship, so it's not a huge concern. Let's head to the Japanese Grand Prix and see if we can get things done. We are going to have a rainy Sunday, which could of course be very, very interesting. Here we are. We qualified 5th and 3rd. Pretty much acceptable. I expect the strategies here. We can throw that out the window. It's going to get rainy. But softs here, not really that good, honestly. As you can see, compared to the mediums, if you were to start on the same tire, it'll take 3 laps and the mediums will be better. And the mediums compared to the hards will be better for a good 27 laps. Sorry, even more than that, 37 laps. So we want to stay on the mediums as much as possible. In terms of considerations here, along pit lane, low chance of a safety car. But we are going to have rain, so... Wait, is it going to rain like a lap or 2 in? Yeah. So it's actually going to start raining a lap or 2 in, and this is kind of the rain I hate. We have potentially 1, 2, 3, 4 laps with full wets. Long pit lane, all the wet's going to be 10 seconds quicker than the inters? Probably not. So, and we're also going to have a dry period here towards the end, so we're probably going to just start on the softs here, get in, put on inters, keep the inters on until lap 30-ish, probably. Get in for final medium stint. I think that is going to be the strategy here. So we're just not going to do anything. We're going to start on the softs, and we're going to be pushing full on attack on those softs because, well, they only need to be alive for 2 laps. So no reason not to, you know, completely use them up here. I think we're ready then. I don't think anything else needs to be said. Let's jump into the race.
Get ready. It's the Japanese Grand Prix.
And we actually got promoted to frontline here.
And it's lights out.
And fourth
away
place.
we
So both cars got a bit further up. And as we can see, everyone is on the sauce. So at least that is a good strategy for rain coming in very quickly.
Good job.
As you can see, within 4 minutes, it's going to start raining.
Nice work.
And as I said, I think we're just going to gamble
New
on
position. Just
just straight on putting on inters. I think that is going to be the play here. Now, we're also just going to deploy ERS for both cars because we can. And we're probably not going to have much of a, you know, DRS advantage, so to speak. Because, well, DRS is going to be happening very soon. So we're just going to push fuel. We're just going to push everything here now until we get to the rain, which is now 2 minutes away. 30-second pit lane. What I'm thinking is that we get one of the cars in now, which is going to be... There's going to be a bit of a risk there in terms of when it starts raining. It's going to start raining within 1:15. So it could potentially be running half a minute on the wrong tire. But I'm thinking we get Latifi in here first. And we'll get Stroll in this coming lap. Now, he is going to potentially struggle a little bit with not rain.
A firm on DRS.
But I think it's going to be okay. I think it's better to just split them up like this. We just need to remember to... Oh, it actually started raining now, see? The second we got Latifi out of the pits. So we'll tune him down and we'll have him run neutral until, you know, he gets to where he should be.
I think the rain's coming down.
But as you can see here, Stroll's already got a 5-second gap. So that is good. Latifi is now running pretty quick. He should be getting to the back of the pack here by the time, you know, the rain actually is starting. But we will have driving clean air, and we'll give that command to Stroll 2 before I forget. And once everyone is on, you know, their tires, we will switch them over. So a lot of the cars are going to do another lap because, well, teams don't want to double stack. And as you can see, Latifi actually didn't come out ahead of Stroll. So, didn't really get too much of an advantage there. And because both cars are running in clean air, they are actually kind of struggling right now to overtake the Red Bull.
You can afford to drop back.
The Red Bull is just blocking us at the moment. Come on, Leclerc, don't be such a baby. There we go. But yeah, need to make it a bit easier to overtake the slower cars, I think. We'll have to see what the others go on to, because right now it is super wet. Probably should check before I pit again, but it's gonna go down pretty quick. So right now we have some cars on the wet tires, Bem and Ocon. The rest are all on the inters, and I think that is kind of what we expected, because it's just such a short full wets period. And with a long pit lane, you just don't get enough time here to really make it happen. Now, as you can see, these inters aren't actually going to make it until the dry period. So we are going to probably have to pit sometime in between here, unless, of course, the estimation is wrong. So we'll keep an eye on that and see when the others start pitting, I think, because we do have a little bit of a gap out front right now. Latifi and Stroll are running pretty quick, but we've lost a lot of that gap that we had to Russell, unfortunately. But for now, we'll just maintain things as they are. And we'll see if we can score some good points here. And we immediately have an incident here. Schumacher involved. And Show. To be fair, I think Show is probably World Deconstructor champion. Basically just about just from the amount of times he gets whacked. Because I think that's what's going to happen again here. Yep, Show gets whacked, but no safety car, so we'll just keep things going. The wet runners are pitting. Latifi has been caught up by Russell, but that is honestly fine. Stroll has better wet weather driving, so it's not a big surprise. And immediately we actually have more crashing. And looks like Verstappen didn't like his title getting taken from him, so he immediately sent it into the wall and even got himself a penalty. Okay, so he tried to sneak up the inside, and well, it did not work out for him there.
It's a collision. Let's
I'll see if we
what
can get to
happened
see it from a different angle there, because
Just
it looks like his
watching the
underfloor
Red
took
Bull.
damage too. No, it looks fine. Okay, my mistake. But yeah, that's gonna suck for Red Bull. But for now, again, we're just gonna maintain where we are, and we'll have to see if we do need to, of course, pit for a different tire, because right now it looks like they'll just barely make it. But I think we'll just shadow the cars behind us, and if they pit for new inters, we'll pit for new inters. To be fair though, they might pit for new wets once we get to around lap 16, 17, 18. So we'll see what they actually do. If they pit for wets, we're going to pit for inters. We've had yet another incident this time. Battle.
Sounds like we've had a spin.
We also had a spin. So it's getting spicy
Here's the replay.
for sure here.
Okay,
Surprised
so
we haven't
there
actually had a
have
safety
the
car yet.
Alpine. And
Okay, so
there's the
AlphaTauri
collision.
takes out the Alpine, but again, not a huge amount of damage. Probably a gearbox though that is toast, but at the same time, not our concern. Currently, we're looking good here still. Stroll has 4 seconds on Latifi. Latifi is staying a second and a half ahead of Russell. So, situation is fairly stable. But as I said, if the cars behind start pitting for new inters or wets, we're just going to be shadowing them. If not, we'll try and make these last to lap 33, 34. But it's going to be a bit more difficult. And we have yet another crash here. So,
Currently yellow at 7.
this might be
Let's take a
the
closer
most
look.
expensive
Now let's look at
GP this year.
Focus on Sonoda. A definite collision there.
Well, lucky for him, it was front wing, not rear wing, that took the brunt of the damage. But this does make it potentially easier to overtake if we need to, once we get to the dry period, because there's so many gaps, well, everywhere, that, well, we should have a bit of an easier time. In terms of tires here, of course, Vettel is still on the wets. Well, he's on new wets. So we'll see now. It's supposed to become quite a lot wetter for 3-4 laps. So we'll have to see how that actually plays out. And as I said, if the others do pit for wet tires, we'll just jump in for new inters. If they jump in for new inters, we're going to jump in for new inters. We're basically going to be somewhat shadowing them. Because, well, we are going to be able to make these last to the dry period just barely. But it's still going to be a bit of a gamble. No, I did not. Okay. I did not turn off driving clean air. But since we haven't had any fights, it actually hasn't been an issue so far. Although Latifi is now getting kind of caught by Russell. So maybe a good thing that we had it on. I don't know. Russell actually just immediately overtakes him. So driving in clean air maybe was beneficial to Latifi. Who knows? But for now, again, we are in a stable position. We're just going to leave things be because no one is pitting. And again, here, these tires are kind of getting eaten up here. So 25% before they start hitting the negative territory. So we'll see. If the others pit, we might do it ourselves. But at this point, I don't think we'll need to. If we have a look at the strategy view and we add a new stint here, lap 34 is when we want to get in. We might need to actually run them a bit slower because this is basically what we can expect. They're not quite here. So I think we'll be okay, but it won't be very nice towards the end there, particularly with the cars that have a little bit of an advantage over us. But for the time being, we'll just stay with what we have. And maybe we'll just jump into the pits a tad bit earlier than the rest here with the when the dry period starts, 32, 33 maybe. We'll see. But for now, we'll wait for the next 10 laps here, and then we'll start considering pitting onto dry tires. Okay, so Sainz and Ricky actually opted for new inters just 5 laps before it starts to become dry. Now, I'm curious just how well their lap times are going to be compared to Latifi. But I don't think it's going to be worth it, honestly, to, well, have pitted for this. So we're just going to stay out. We're so close to the right period anyways. And we'll be seeing on this lap now what kind of times they do. But again, they are getting held up by other cars. So if you take that into consideration, they aren't going to be running, I think, any quicker than we are.
It's not raining in the pit lane.
Norris is pitting too. So, yeah, as you can see, they aren't running any quicker than we are. It's basically now when we go in for the dry tires. And honestly, I think we're going to do it pretty soon here. So Albin is pitting onto new Inters, I would assume.
Why the tires are like ice. Feels like I'm
And yeah, as you can see, he did that. But again, we want to stay out at least until it gets under 1 millimeter, I think. So I'm thinking now is when we get Latifi in, because those tires are already broken. So we'll get him in for mediums. For Stroll here, I think we might as well just get him in as well. Get him onto mediums. And these mediums will last to the end, no problem at all. So that's one thing we're just going to be pitting. We might be pitting a lap or two early, to be fair. But I think it's going to be worth it here. And Latifi comes out way behind Russell, considering that they came in almost equal here. So that is a pretty bad pit stop from us. We probably did get held up a bit there from Vettel as well. But right now it's very much acceptable. They all went onto soft tires. Okay. They all went on to use soft tires, and they will not last to the end of the race. Let's see here. If we were to go onto soft tires the next time we could pit, they will just barely make it to the end. But these are fresh soft tires. They already got on used soft tires, so Latifi still has every opportunity here, honestly. We can push fuel too. So I guess once we get to about 10 laps remaining, we'll start pushing a bit of fuel, but for now we'll just stay where we are. We barely had to push fuel to catch up to Russell. Latifi's been doing very good lap times there. As you can see, he's running a second quicker. And what I'm thinking here now is that we could try and just pull away, but I'm thinking that we harvest a little bit. Honestly, we don't need to. I'll be perfectly honest. We'll just push fuel, we'll deploy ERS, and I think that will be enough to get the gap here to Russell, where he just can't catch us. So there we are. We are going to still push fuel a bit, get a couple of seconds on him, and I think that will be more than good enough here. And that should keep us into a very, very, well, safe position. As you can see, we're still running around a second quicker than Stroll, almost 2 seconds quicker than Russell. So pushing fuel, using a little bit of energy here, really did work out for us. But for now, we'll just tune him down. Could probably push a little bit extra here just to have a safe gap. Magnussen pits, and as you can see here, those soft runners are starting to really, suffer. So Russell here, 7 laps, 8 laps with those softs. He's not going to have a good time. So for now, we'll just keep things going, and unless something special happens, we should have an easy 1-2 this race. As expected here, basically an easy 1-2, unless of course something very special happens. Leclerc's running basically, used up softs at this stage, so is Gasly, so is Bottas. A lot of them are really, even Vettel in the back there. So need to get a little bit better on the time usage after the wet period here, honestly, but that gave us an easy 1-2. And with that, we have basically now, for sure, won both championships. And we still have 4 races to go this season, so that is a pretty dominating performance. Now, Leclerc actually started last, so he also had a pretty dominating performance from that perspective. And we had Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, and both Alphas scoring points. Unfortunately, Russell, he still managed to, get a good position in 4th, but he did need to pit onto new tires, so he's 10 seconds behind Leclerc. Generally, though, a good race. We had a lot of crashes during the rainy period, but after that, it became really, really quiet. So we'll take that. Now with this, Latifi is back up into 2nd, a point ahead of Leclerc. And I guess that is going to be the fight for to the end of the season here. Stroll has won the championship, hands down, with by a mile at this point. And in the Constructor here, we're almost 100 points ahead of Red Bull. So I think we can safely say that we have won both championships. I don't know if we mathematically have won the constructors, but if we score just at minimum of points and Red Bull doesn't finish 1-2 each race, I say we won it. And with their current deconstructing habits, I say we're very, very safe. So it's been a bit of a long episode today to make up for yesterday. Honestly, I'm still kind of iffy. Headache is far less than it was yesterday. Nausea is also far less than it was yesterday. But I'm still not feeling 100%. But I'm feeling a lot better. So I'm thinking we are going to try and finish this season tomorrow on Friday. But I'm a little bit unsure if I'll make it in time. If I don't, it'll be out Saturday the latest. And then I'll see what I do if I do a 5th season that is heavily condensed. Or if I basically just start doing some prep work for 23. We'll have to see exactly what happens there, because we've had a pretty dominating performance there. But I would also like to try and get a championship with Latifi, in all honesty. But we'll see what we do. I'm very, as you probably realized by now, I'm very undecided. Until I make up my mind, I will be going back and forth constantly. The pros and the cons, if I can, if I can't. But I am also disappointed in this save because AlphaTauri had so many opportunities at points and they haven't managed to score a single one since they had that podium chance. But as I said, we are going to continue next time. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I've had a lot of fun and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.